A reminder, the news doesn't end here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m.
Another stabbing on Charlotte's Blue Line is sparking yet another national political debate. Coming up, how federal, state, and local leaders are responding.
It comes as Mecklenburg County leaders will address questions about immigration enforcement in the Queen City today.
This man that stabbed the individual on the train was not supposed to be here in the first place.
How the suspect's immigration status could impact today's hearing.
Right now, the search is on for an escaped inmate in Lincoln County, where authorities believe he's hiding out this morning.
And do you know a sports fan who lives and dies with their team?
We'll talk about the science behind those game day emotions. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, one thing to know as you're heading out for your morning commute, we have an accident on I-85 southbound. The right lane is currently blocked. It's at Little Rock Road and Freedom Drive, so allow for a few extra minutes. It's about a 5 to 10 minute delay. Chris.
And one thing to know in the weather category is that from 7 to noon, you're going to have a chance for widespread rain, even some brief wet snowflakes mixing in. It's just going to be cold and damp during this period.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Well, Ginger the elf, she is back, and take a look. Ginger is making sure that she is TV ready for all of her fans. Of course, she will join us every morning here on WCNC Charlotte leading up to Christmas. And now we know that Ginger has lots of friends out there. Send us your pictures, 704-329-3600.
I didn't know Ginger got hair and makeup. Wow.
Who knew?
Good for her.
Where's ours?
All right, we'll see you. Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. on a Monday morning on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. And we start off with a check of your forecast as we are weather impact alert today. Chris is standing by with those details.
Right now, things aren't too bad, but we are looking at a big change, especially heading over the next few hours. And up in the mountains, of course, you're dealing with a winter weather advisory. Already seeing some accumulations on the roads. Majestic will show you that here shortly, especially up in the Blowing Rock area. It takes a while sometimes for the snow to really overcome the warmer road. Well, a lot of those roads are now starting to become snow covered. Meanwhile, here in our Dallas camera, what you're actually looking at is right here, the low deck of clouds. This was fog. Now it's risen up. Once it's no longer touching the ground, it officially is a low deck of stratus clouds, and that's going to keep things nice and cloudy. Meanwhile, in the short term, we're starting to see rain start to work its way in, barely trying to work its way down, but it's really now, I would say, until about 11 to noon that we're going to have a chance for some light rain. But if you notice, over the last couple of hours, we did have some white and some pinks here involved in some of the green. That represents that just above our heads, we have snow. Now, it all depends. There sometimes can be little columns of air that are a little bit cooler that allow for a break or a changeover to a brief snow. It's almost like more like a white rain, so not really accumulating too much, but you might be able to see some snowflakes as far south the I-85 corridor. Now, if you're talking about South Carolina, I think this is all rain, not going to work its way down towards the south that far, and the I-40 corridor could even see some light accumulations associated with this. We have a front that's attached to this that's going to continue to roll through, and it's going to be a pretty quick moving system, so that's why it's only going to last for a few hours, so good news for us. But the snow is going to last much longer. There's something called orographic lifting that literally you just have a drive of moisture that rides up the mountains, and it creates more moisture, creates more rain and snow in this scenario. And at times I think we're even going to have some half-inch to an inch per hour snow rates, depending, especially the further you go up. Now, if you look closely, by about 8 to about, let's call it about 9 to 10 actually, that's where I think we have the best chance for some pockets of maybe some snow, rain snow mix that could work its way down to around the 485 corridor. This is not a definite. This is just some of the things that I am seeing as a case and scenario. And then we have a mix of rain and snow right here around the I-40 corridor continuing through the afternoon. It's at this point, especially for Taylorsville, Statesville over to Hickory, that we could have the best chance for accumulating precipitation, accumulating snow mid to late afternoon. Eventually all this starts to bite it, and then it's going to eventually get out of here, and then no more snow to worry about, at least for the near term. And then heading into tomorrow, a big time cool down. So how much rain are we seeing? Less than 0.05 of an inch is likely, less than 1/10 of an inch, certainly south of the I-40 corridor. And then these values are actually translated over to snow. I think 1 to 3 inches of snow is going to accumulate up into the high country. So one of the bigger accumulations that we had widespread outside of some of the tippity top of those mountains. A closer look at that snow potential, a trace to a half inch. Let's just call this maybe a trace to a dusting of snow right here along the I-40 corridor, 1 to 2 to 2 to 4 inches up in the high country. And today's high, not high at all, 40 degrees. But most of the rain that we are going to see here around Charlotte will be during the morning. Could have some lingering precip into the afternoon. And then any moisture that's left over with temperatures dropping down below freezing in a hurry could have some patchy black ice. So watch out for the drive, watch out for the walk on your Tuesday morning. After that, we have the lower 50s on Wednesday and Thursday, either side of 50 heading through the weekend, but it gets much colder heading into next week. All more on that coming up. But first, let's get our first check here on WCNC Plus with Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Let's take you up to the mountains because this is where roads are likely a bit more impacted. This is one of our cameras out there in Boone. You can see the snow has actually started to stick at some of those roads. You can see people are just taking it nice and easy. Some of those cars have a dusting of snow on them. So if you live out in the mountains, you might want to warm up the car, brush off the snow, get ready to go. You can see some of those cars right there and some of those rooftops just blanketed with just a very light layer of snow. So again, that's where we could have some slick and icy spots at times. Meanwhile, I want to let you know about a couple of things a little closer on home to Charlotte. Right now, we're following this. This is I-85 South at Speedway Boulevard. That's exit 49. It's backed up to Poplar Tent Road. That's exit 52. You can see the red and the orange starting to build again, slower moving traffic. And again, that's those southbound lanes that'll be impacted by that. And then finally, this one here still ongoing. At least one lane is blocked on I-85 South, Little Rock Road, backed up to Freedom Drive. We'll have another check on area roadways coming up for you here soon.
All right, Majestic, thanks. In just a few hours, the man accused of stabbing somebody on Charlotte's Blue Line Friday night in Noda is set to face a judge. CMPD says 33-year-old Oscar Solorzano is now in custody charged with attempted murder. Court records show he is in the country illegally and was previously deported. The violent crime putting folks back on edge as it comes less than 4 months since the deadly stabbing of Irina Zarutska on the exact same train line.
Our team has been following this story since it broke. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live this morning from NODA. There were a lot of developments over the weekend, Destiny, including reaction from across the political spectrum.
Yeah, reaction to this latest stabbing has grown from local concern to a national political debate, and the suspect's immigration status has really become a central part of the discussion. Now, leaders at the federal, state, and local levels have all been weighing in. President Donald Trump posted about the attack, criticizing Charlotte and Democratic leadership, while Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino directly responded to Governor Josh Stein, saying, quote, "The blood of innocence is on you." Stein confirmed he spoke with Charlotte's new police chief about the incident, as local leaders called for calm and emphasized that immigration enforcement falls outside the city's authority. Mecklenburg County Republican leaders are blaming federal and local policies, saying the incident highlights ongoing failures around border security and public safety. And as this political back and forth continues, of course, the main concern right here at home continues to be rider safety. I'll send it back to you guys live here from NODA.
So, Destiny, what are city leaders and CATS, what are they saying about the latest stabbing and the concerns it is raising for those riders?
Yeah, we definitely heard from Mayor Vi Lyles and CATS interim CEO Brett Cagle, and their statements basically reiterated that rider safety was at top of mind and their top priority. They also brought back up those safety measures that they put in place after the Irina Zarutska stabbing, having additional private security out at the light rail. And of course, though, there's been, conflicting reports we've heard from riders about whether they have actually seen the presence of that additional security. We are here at the 25th Street station in NODA. We've seen the light rail moving back and forth here, and if there is security there, it is not obvious, but that's definitely something to ask more of leaders, is if they plan to do anything different or just reiterate these measures that they have continued to put in place.
I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about that. All right, Destiny, thank you for that report. And again, as we mentioned, court documents show Oscar Solorzano is not in the country legally. The Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office is going to hold a news conference today to address questions about immigration enforcement and Irina's law. Later this morning, we'll hear from an immigration attorney who will explain what today's court appearance could look like for Solorzano and the long legal road ahead.
This morning, the search continues for an escaped inmate out of Lincoln County. Take a look. Authorities say this man, Roy Burgess, escaped from the Lincoln Correctional Facility Sunday afternoon. They believe he's in the Dallas or Gastonia area. Anybody who knows where he is should call police. One of the suspects in a deadly mass shooting in Hickory over the summer is back in front of a judge today to discuss a possible bond. Isaiah Mitchell, one of 7 people charged in a deadly pool party back in June. Investigators say more than 80 rounds were fired at the home in a gang-motivated attack. One person was killed, several others injured.
This morning, the SBI is investigating a shooting involving a state trooper in Caldwell County. The agency says it happened around 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon on Grace Chapel Road in Granite Falls. Officers tell us Senior Trooper William Miller responded to a crash, and a man identified as Scott Siegel pulled a gun at the scene. They say Trooper Miller shot Siegel, killing him. That trooper is on leave. Charlotte Fire issuing a reminder to be careful to not leave your candles burning unattended. This follows a house fire Saturday morning. Firefighters say it happened around 3 o'clock Saturday morning on Sylvania Avenue near Camp North End. Firefighters say an unattended candle that was left burning caused that fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but that fire cost $325,000 in damage.
This morning, things running more smoothly at Charlotte Douglas after a ground stop caused delays all Sunday morning. Right now, we're seeing just 20 delays and 12 cancellations. That's much better than what we saw yesterday when it was 700 delays and more than 50 cancellations. Officials say it was caused by a runway light malfunctioning. Our crew shared this video from inside the terminal showing folks waiting and wondering when their flights were going to take off. The ground stop lifted around noon Sunday, but the impacts, as you can imagine, lingered throughout the afternoon. If you have any travel plans today, go ahead and check your flight status just to be sure before leaving your house.
As the countdown to Christmas continues, folks were in the holiday spirit across the Charlotte area this weekend, including at the Fort Mill Christmas Parade. It featured local school groups, bands, and of course, St. Nick. Davidson, Kings Mountain, and Mint Hill also held their holiday parades over the weekend.
7:10 right now on WCNC Plus. Pressure mounting on Capitol Hill over a deadly September airstrike near Venezuela. Coming up, the battle over releasing that video and why critics say it could expose a war crime.
.13 now on this Monday morning. This morning, pressure mounting on the Trump administration to release video of a September airstrike near Venezuela. Critics call the attack on an alleged drug boat a war crime, while some Republican lawmakers are defending it. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington with what's at stake for the Pentagon.
Signs of an intensifying campaign against drug traffickers in the Caribbean, with the Trump administration sending more U.S. troops to Puerto Rico for training, and President Trump saying he may move from strikes on alleged drug boats at sea to land in Venezuela and other countries.
We know every route, we know every house, we know where they live.
The president overnight hosting the Kennedy Center honors as lawmakers sound off on the strikes.
They're unlawful, they're unconstitutional.
Zeroing in on the double tap back in September that killed 2 survivors of an initial strike. Congress is investigating, with many Democrats calling it a war crime and calling on the administration to release the video.
This video was profoundly shaken. And I think it's important for Americans to see it.
That amid new details about what Admiral Frank Bradley, who ordered the strike, told lawmakers in closed-door testimony. The admiral said he consulted with a military lawyer throughout the operation, and an official and a person familiar with the briefing told NBC News Bradley said the boat's cargo was bound for Europe or Africa, not the U.S. The sources also said military aircraft spotted the survivors waving their arms, Republicans defending the move.
It looked at one point like they were trying to flip the boat back over, presumably to rescue its cargo and continue their mission.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth also justifying the campaign.
We will keep killing them so long as they are poisoning our people with narcotics.
And while President Trump said releasing the video would be no problem, Hegseth would not commit to it, saying the Pentagon is reviewing. A bipartisan group of senators is pushing a resolution aiming to block U.S. military action in Venezuela unless authorized by Congress. while the Republican chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee argued the president does not need congressional approval to continue the strikes on boats at sea. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Large crowds participated in a rally in Quito, Ecuador on Sunday in support of Venezuela's opposition. Their rally took place as Venezuelans in different parts of the world participated in a weekend of March for Peace and Freedom. The rally is called by opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who was awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. The demonstrations taking place, by the way, just days before the prestigious award is set to be presented in Oslo, Norway. CNN learning the Trump administration plans to deport dozens of Iranians back to their home country. This is part of the administration's continued effort to expel undocumented immigrants, and it'll mark the second known mass deportation of Iranians.
Iran and the United States worked out an agreement for the deportations, even though the two countries do not have diplomatic relations. Some human rights advocates say the deportations raise serious questions. Many of the Iranians left their country because of human rights abuses in Iran, and some of the immigrants have expressed fear that their lives will be in danger if they return. Protesters gathered in New Orleans this weekend to demand an end to the federal immigration crackdown in the area. The city's mayor, Helena Moreno, called for unity despite the enforcement operation. She said outside forces are trying to divide the city.
This operation is actually causing harm for the city of New Orleans, and it's causing harm for people beyond those who are being targeted. We have businesses that are closing. We have workers afraid to show up, and ultimately there is an economic impact, a negative economic impact that is spreading across our city and also across our region.
Most of the enforcement activity has been outside of the city. The New Orleans region is just the latest area the Trump administration is targeting as part of its immigration crackdown effort. Of course, they were here in Charlotte before heading there.
The Trump administration changing which days Americans can visit national parks for free next year. The list removes free admission on Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth. But here's the thing, it adds President Donald Trump's birthday, 4th of July weekend, and President Theodore Roosevelt's birthday as well. The free days will apply only to U.S. residents. Starting January 1st, international tourists must pay regular fees plus an extra $100. Annual passes for non-residents will cost $250, more than triple the price of U.S. residents.
Snow's accumulating in a hurry, especially through this morning. Even seeing some spots of some heavier snow right here around Banner Elk. We're going to show you the different cameras about what's happening in the mountains and the slight chance for snow around the Charlotte area. We'll see. That and more coming up. Check this out, our Mr. Sparky Carolina Camera Network. I want to show you everything that's happening around the area. You can't really see what's happening in Sugar Mountain because it's so snowy. But the fact of the matter is, over the last couple of hours, we've seen active snow here in the mountains. But now, as you can actively see here in Blowing Rock and now in Boone, it has now overcome the temperatures of the road. So it's actively accumulating on the roads. So that is going to be an issue. Majestic will have more on the traffic side of things. But I want to show you the satellite and radar right now up and around the high country. So this is showing anywhere from a moderate to even pockets of some of the heavier snow. Once you get to the darker blues, that's what that represents. And the lighter blue is really just mere flurries to a very light snow that's barely accumulating. And then some of those darker greens that you're seeing right on the cusp just shows all heavy rain with maybe some wet snowflakes mixing in right along the foothills and say around Patterson, just north of Lenoir. But then scrolling down towards the south, we're now starting to see an uptick of some rain. Now, a lot of this has been struggling to hit the surface right away, but now we're going to start to see some active rain across the area. And further off towards the west, there's not really a lot that comes with this system. So this is pretty much I would say, the worst of it that we're going to have over the next few hours. But there's still going to be a chance that some of this is potentially going to allow for maybe a little bit of some wet snowflakes starting to mix back in. I'm going to show you a different model than what I've otherwise showed you so far this morning. I'm seeing mainly rain, but I wanted to show you this one. I haven't been showing you this much in the morning because I don't really agree with it, but this does show the rain snow line to dip down a little bit further down to the south. So that is the least likely scenario. Most likely it's going to be kind of more like this, seeing that rain that passes, maybe a little bit of those pink areas. That means some wet snowflakes start to mix in just north of the I-85 corridor. It lingers to around the I-40 corridor, and then kaput, it is past and gone. So just letting you know, it's really now until about 11 to noon. That's going to be our best window of opportunity for rain in general for the Charlotte area. Now I have to talk about the stark reality about where things are going. High temperatures over the next 10 days are right around 40 degrees over the next 2. We're back either side of 50 degrees, so a little bit close to normal, still below average days overall. But once we get a cold front to pass this weekend, look at next Monday. A high of 38 degrees. And this isn't a good way to end the weathercast, but our low temperatures down to 27 by tomorrow. We have our first chance at the teens next Monday morning. So yeah, I'm complaining about this Monday. Well, next Monday is going to be a whole lot colder. Well, so far for the Charlotte area, weather hasn't been a big issue yet. It was foggy, but Majestic has more about what's happening from the mountains to the Charlotte area this morning.
Let's get to it. Good morning, everyone. Look at this. This is a winter wonderland on a Monday. Some people have their snow boots on, taking a walk. I think lots of people in the mountains actually enjoy snowy conditions. You can see the snow is sticking out on those area roadways, so make sure you're slowing it down if you have someplace to be. Again, we are saying a light dusting starting to accumulate on those roads, maybe even a little bit more. Sidewalks as well, low visibility. It's just kind of a wintry morning out there in the mountains. Let's get to this though. I-85 a little closer to Charlotte. We are seeing some impacts here. I-85 south at Speedway Boulevard. That's between exit 49 and exit 52. Again, southbound lanes being impacted by that crash there. Once we zoom a little bit more south, also some delays. Right lane currently blocked on I-85 south. It's between Little Rock Road and Freedom Drive. Exits 32 to 34 allow for some extra drive time for that Monday morning commute.
Majestic, thanks so much. Of course, we want to send a big thank you to everyone who showed up to our in-person donation day for our magical toy drive on Saturday. It was a pleasure for our team to meet with so many of you who brought your donations to Carolina Place Mall. You showed up in a big way for kids in our area, donating, get this, more than 3,700 toys to the Salvation Army just this weekend. Now, if you could not make it out to that event, there is still plenty of time for you to donate. Just scan that QR code on your screen to learn how. All right, take a look at your screen because she is back. We're talking about Ginger the Elf, and it looks like she's making sure that she is TV ready for all of her fans, or she's in somebody's makeup. Ginger, of course, joins us every morning here on WCNC Plus, as well as on WCNC Charlotte, leading up to Christmas. Now, we know that Ginger has lots of friends out there, so make sure that you keep those pictures coming in. Just text us 704-329-3600. We want to see what your elves are getting into this holiday season. The time is now 7:25. We're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Isn't it just beautiful in Blowing Rock this morning? Looks like a snow globe. Bundle up as you make your way out. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone. Check it out. We're showing you some of our mountain cameras. The Sugar Mountain one just dropped off, but here in Boone, especially over in Blowing Rock, you can actually see some of those tire tracks that are happening because snow is actively accumulating on the roads. Keep that in mind. That's why there's a winter weather advisory for Watauga, Ashe, and Avery County that goes until 1 a.m. tonight. Periods of heavy snow are going to be a possibility. Meanwhile, we're now dealing with some light to moderate rain that's pushing across Gaston County, Mecklenburg County, so the greater Charlotte area in general. We're going to keep that around over the next few hours, where most of the rain that we see is really now until about 11 o'clock. After that, things start to really improve, but it's still going to be a cloudy and cold day. High of 40 today and high of 40 tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, as we drop down below freezing, chance for a little bit of black ice. Other than that, still staying below the norm, either side of 50 degrees over the next 7 days. But hey, at least it gets sunnier by tomorrow. Majestic, what's going on the roads this morning?
Good morning, everyone. Well, watch for those weather impacts if you're really north of I-40, especially up there in Boone. I've seen some snow plows around the area helping to treat those roads, but just watch for some slick and icy spots here and there as that snow continues to come down. I-85, we're still following a slowdown. It's a crash right here on I-85 South between exits 49 and 52. More on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for streaming live at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. First up, let's get a check of your weather impact forecast. We are weather impact alert on this Monday morning. We're seeing some snow in some places, Chris.
We sure are. Now, active cameras, and it's so snowy that a lot of them are dropping out, so I'm not getting all four all at once. But actually, if you look really closely, we still have a very active downtown Boone here. Even some of those flashing lights representing some of those salt trucks is one that's going through right here. So some of that salt is actually making a big difference. You can actually see some lanes here of traffic. So that salt is now a active addition, and that's really nice to see. Meanwhile, Sugar Mountain, they want the snow because that's going to just allow for a lot more ski sales. They're gonna get my words out. And then for Blowing Rock camera, still seeing some of the tracks here. They really haven't salted the roads here yet or really treated them so far, putting any of that brine down depending. Our satellite and radar shows that the heaviest snow is starting to wane a little bit. So right here around noon, that's where we still have some decent snowfall totals that are coming here in Watauga County. Once you get back to this lighter blue color, which is starting to take back over, it's more of a light snow to a flurry action. Meanwhile, the further southeast you go, rain's all over the place. If you've been outside so far, well, a couple hours ago it was dry. Now we're starting to see some really light rain that's moving through. Some of it's barely hitting the surface. Others are starting to deal with more of a light to a moderate rain, which isn't great for our morning commute. So that could lead to some problems as well. But if you also scale a little bit further off towards the east, looking over here, and please message us if this is actually translating. What's interesting when you're that close to freezing, because right now our temperatures are around the freezing point, you can oftentimes mix in some snow. So we are seeing a good chance that you around Albemarle, Norwood over here in Stanley County, over in Big Lick, you could potentially see a little bit of changeover to snow briefly. Meanwhile, all rain for the Charlotte area, but the further north that you go, still also a chance for some changeover spots north of the I-40 corridor. I'll show you our future cast here in one moment, but right now we're at 39 degrees in Charlotte, 37 degrees in Hickory, and of course 32 degrees right around Boone. So what a difference just a few degrees makes. Even if we were around 32, 34 degrees, so 5 degrees cooler than we're at right now, we would be talking about a much better chance for snow. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of you might be able to see it briefly going forward. So let's get right to it. For our future cast, this is the one that I think that's the most on. It was picking up on a little snow around Stanley County not too long ago, but I think it's a little bit closer to, I would say, mid to late morning that we could still mix in a little bit of snow. And that's what that pink represents that you're seeing here around 10. It's really close to the I-40 corridor that has the best chance of even seeing snow, and maybe a light dusting could even accumulate, especially on some elevated surfaces. But I can't discount the chance that you see a brief changeover from place to place around the greater Charlotte area to conclude the morning. Once this gets out of here, which is going to happen pretty quickly, we're going to hit some drier air, still keeping some rain and snow around the I-40 corridor, certainly snowing for a lot longer in the mountains. Snow will slowly start to taper off as we work our way through the evening. And then by then, we're just talking about a much bigger cool down, where tonight is going to be another night that you maybe want to drip. So what this really does is by keeping an active flow in your pipes, they won't necessarily freeze. Now, it more so happens when temperatures are below 20 degrees for multiple hours, but anytime it's below 28 degrees, especially if you don't really have a lot of good insulation, say in your crawl space, when it's 28 degrees for 4 hours or more, that is the time to drip. You only need about 5 drips per minute, and it looks like that indeed is going to happen, because check it out, from about 3 till 9 o'clock, we have temperatures that are around that 28 degree point, even dropping down to 27. As far as our highs going, for tomorrow morning, I am looking at the concern for some black ice, especially the higher you go up in elevation, it'll be colder there. And then most mornings starting off either around freezing, slightly below. High temperatures either side of 50 degrees. And just letting you know, Sunday highs only in the lower 40s. Next Monday, highs might not even reach 40 degrees. So yeah, no, we can't warm up. We're not really seeing a big warm up anytime soon, but maybe by week 2, we'll see. Let's get over to Majestic for our morning commute.
All right, good morning, everyone. We are heading into our Monday, and if you're waking up in the mountains and just turning on the stream, well, good morning to you. You're waking up to a winter wonderland out there. This is one of our cameras coming in from Blowing Rock. Those are some big snowflakes, and snow is fast, accumulating very fast, not just on the sidewalks, but even right there in the streets. I've seen some plows out there in Boone, but I haven't seen it quite yet here in Blowing Rock. Rock. So if you are up in the mountains, you're going to need to brush the snow off your car before you head out the door and just take it easy. Meanwhile, a little closer to Charlotte, things continue to flow just fine as of now. This is I-77, York County out there in South Carolina. Good morning to everyone. Our drive times, if you're heading out the door for your Monday morning commute, they're definitely high if you're coming in from Salisbury, over 1 hour and just under 30 minutes if you're making that commute in from Matthews. This has been the slowdown that's probably going to slow you down if you're coming in from Salisbury. You can see the red there. I-85 south at exit 49, that's Speedway Boulevard. It's backed up to about exit 52. They are clearing it, but as you can see, still a lot of red lingering. Another big one here. This is an accident where the right lane is blocked. It's on I-85 southbound between Little Rock Road and Freedom Drive. Again, allowing some time for your morning commute is going to be key for you this morning. Out there at I-85 and Glenwood Drive, there is an accident on the ramp causing some minor delays. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here soon.
Majestic, thanks. 7:36 now. Continuing our coverage this morning on what is now the second stabbing on the Charlotte light rail in the last 4 months. CMPD says 33-year-old Oscar Solorzano is in custody, charged with attempted murder after they say he stabbed a man Friday night. He is set to face a judge in just a few hours. Right now, court records show he is in the United States illegally and was previously deported. As Solorzano heads to court, WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard spoke with an immigration attorney to go over what today's court appearance could look like and the long legal road ahead.
The court hearing for Oscar Solorzano is expected to be brief, but attorneys like Gary Money says it's the start of a much longer legal process.
All persons are entitled to due process under the United States Constitution.
Money says the focus stays on the criminal case here in Mecklenburg County. Even though the suspect was undocumented, their immigration status does not take over the case. At least not yet.
So the state system is not the immigration system. So what will happen is the state court prosecutors will probably be working with federal officials that are part of the immigration departments and agencies of the federal government.
If Solorzano faces charges for illegal re-entry after deportation, Kenneth Pham, an immigration attorney, says the process will be handled separately.
They go through two separate processes. The federal law handles it on their end, and the state handles it on their end as well. The federal government steps in and goes, hey, this person isn't supposed to be here, and then starts the process of adjudicating of whether or not they have a ability to get a lawful right here. But we don't know until we go through the constitutional method.
Until then, the suspect will remain in the county jail while the attempted murder charge moves through the court. As for now, Monty says Monday's appearance will answer key questions like whether or not Solorzano will be held without bond and what timeline will the court set for the next phase of the attempted murder case.
The judge will have statutes that guide his decision-making or her decision-making. And so then after that, this gentleman will probably go back to prison until the next hearing or until a trial date is set.
Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
Right now, we're working to bring you more details on a reported shooting in North Charlotte. It happened late Sunday morning. Medic says they found somebody shot lying in the middle of Old Statesville Road just down from W.T. Harris Boulevard. But they say that's not where the shooting actually happened. This is video from that area, but so far police have not given us a location for the scene of the crime. CMPD says an anonymous tip led them to a major drug bust in Southwest Charlotte. Officers searched an apartment on Yancey Road, seizing 2 guns, more than $6,000 in cash, and large amounts of suspected drugs. 25-year-old Pierce Serda was arrested on multiple trafficking and possession charges. Police urging anybody with more information to contact Crime Stoppers. Well, right now, Monroe Police asking for your help in finding these 2 missing teens. Take a look. 15-year-old Cameron Sane was last seen getting into a white Ford truck on Skywatch Lane. Police believe she may be with 16-year-old Damian Funk. Funk was reported missing from another jurisdiction. Police believe they may be leaving the state. All right, 7:39 right now. The countdown to Christmas continued over the weekend in Gastonia. Folks lining the streets Sunday for this year's Christmas parade. A lot of you watched it live right here on WCNC+. Families we spoke to say it's a great holiday tradition for the entire community.
I think people should come out to the Gastonia Parade just to really enjoy some family time, get to spend time with the holidays and see people.
It's the 78th year the city hosted that parade.
Sunday's parade was followed by a tree lighting ceremony, part of the big Christmas in the City event at the Rotary Pavilion. There was also a street market and live music. The holidays bring joy and sparkle, but they may also bring something unexpected. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the hidden culprit that could be making your season sneezy.
.42 right now. It's that time of year again. Unpacking holiday decorations and setting up a Christmas tree can be fun and certainly festive.
But if you are feeling like you do during the spring and fall allergy seasons, there's a reason why. Mandy Gaither explains why you may be allergic to the holidays.
From dusty decor to your Christmas tree, if the holidays have you sneezing, you're not alone.
A lot of people have the predominant symptoms in the spring and summer and fall, but there are some people that continue to have symptoms or maybe even have worsened symptoms when they start to get that tree out.
Dr. Chris Brooks with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says if your allergies are acting up around live Christmas trees, it's not from pollen.
When trees are cut down, brought to the house, and our indoor environment, which can be warmer and more humid than the outdoor environment, there can be molds that can grow.
As for artificial trees that have been stored, Brooks says those can not only expose you to mold, but also to dust mites, pet dander, and critter droppings, which can bother the noses and lungs of even folks who aren't allergic.
If you're allergic to mold, maybe not doing a live tree. Symptoms that patients get with non-live trees might be a little bit easier to prevent, because if you're able to clean off all that dust off that tree, that might help prevent symptoms.
When unpacking holiday decor, if the boxes look dusty, Brooks says having a mask on can prevent irritants from getting in your nose. He says properly storing that holiday decor can also help prevent future problems.
Mold thrives in more humid environments, so making sure there's not moisture getting into wherever it's being stored.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now, if your allergies continue acting up over the holidays, Brooks says that you should talk to a doctor. There are plenty of options that could help, from medications to allergy avoidance techniques and all allergy shots and more.
Feliz Navidad.
You're taking a look at protesters that greeted the Coast Guard's so-called Christmas tree ship this weekend in Chicago. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem attended the holiday event. The protesters sang holiday songs nearby and held signs reading "Trees for families, not props for politicians."
I was horrified to see what Kristi Noem's DHS did in our city and is still doing. And they should get out of here and leave our people alone, leave our neighbors alone.
Protesters say they're unhappy with the federal government's immigration crackdown in that city and in other places like it, like Charlotte.
Parade goers in Gatlinburg, Tennessee were stunned by an unexpected guest during the 50th annual Fantasy of Lights Christmas Parade. An animal showed up just as the crowds began to clear. And by animal, we mean that animal, a big black bear that was quite curious, caught on camera rummaging through a downtown trash can just after the parade wrapped up. Could you imagine? Now, this is not the first time a bear has gone viral in Gatlinburg recently. Just last month, firefighters had to rescue another bear that's found its way onto the roof of Ripley's Motion Blaster. No thanks.
Poor guy. 7:46 right now for the creators of Stranger Things. One teacher made all the difference. Coming up, how that bond turned into a surprising cameo on the hit series.
Welcome back, everyone. We are a weather impact alert. So that just simply means that, hey, the weather could impact your morning commute, and it certainly is, especially depending where you are. So I just wanted to show you where we're going over the next few days. Number one, high of only 40 degrees, and the best chance for a wintry mix is further off towards the north, and then 40 degrees again for your Tuesday. But the big deal is why you see a second red bar there is because we are going to see a cool down back to that freezing point, so we could have a little bit of black ice. So moving on to that, that's going to be tomorrow morning. Watching for black ice because any precipitation that we have left over, a wet road could eventually lead to some icy spots, especially walking around. And up in the mountains, boy, are they looking at a winter haven. Check this out. Talk about walking in a winter wonderland depending where you are. And this snow is coming down pretty fast. And I want to show you the differences here. Notice Boone that you see two clear lanes. The reason why is I've seen active salt trucks move through. Meanwhile, over in Blowing Rock, that has not been the case. So it's been a little bit more efficient over in Boone. I think they might do the same eventually here in Blowing Rock. So it just depends on if roads are treated or not. Also, some plows moving through, as you're seeing right there in the upper left corner. Meanwhile, on Sugar Mountain and Beach Mountain, you have that fresh pow that everyone's going to be able to enjoy coming up here shortly. So as of right now, you can see here on our radar that we have some active blues, but behind this, the whites moving in is just mainly some flurries. So the heaviest snow that we have seen so far this morning has been really over the last hour, but I think it is going to lighten up slowly, and then we're slowly going to see a downgrade as far as the snow intensity really going into the afternoon, and then we'll have some lingering flurries by the evening. As far as the rain is concerned, we're really starting to see a lot more showers. Majestic's seeing it all on her NCDOT cameras that she'll be showing you here shortly. So some wet roads have begun, but this is also going to be a limiting factor as well, because behind this system is some drier air. So it's really over the next few hours that we're going to have the best chance for any of that precipitation. Here's another refresher as far as our future cast is going. I think it's really between about 9 and 10. It's going to be a slight chance that we could actually mix in some snowflakes by the early afternoon. We're starting to fade out the rain really south of I-85. Still a chance for a wintry mix further off towards the north. And then beyond that, we're going to see the last bit of those flurries fly a little bit later on in the evening. I showed you the 7-day forecast. That's what I started off with, but I want to bring you and end this with one stat. Over the last 10 days, look where temperatures have been. The warmest we've been is 50 degrees. We now are going to be officially on day 11 of high temperatures, 50 degrees or below. That is astronomical and more like January compared to December. And going forward over the next 10 days, it looks like it might even get colder. Yikes. All right, let's go look at some of those cameras and what's going on around town with Majestic. Not a great commute anymore.
Not really, that's for sure. I mean, we are seeing those impacts. Let's start with this one. Yes, it is snowy out there. This one's coming in from King Street out there in Boone. Look at how beautiful it is. So big old snowflakes with snow covering those rooftops. It's actually accumulating just a bit even out on those area roadways. So take it easy out there. Allow for some time to go brush off your car and just allow for a few extra minutes to get to where you need to be safely, especially if you're driving on those side roads or more in those rural areas where maybe those roads haven't been treated quite as well. Again, we're seeing those impacts there in Boone. Meanwhile, I-85, this is here at Graham, where we do have some backups there. That's where we have followed an accident that's still out there. I'm going to show you it here coming up. But then I-77 area roadways are wet. It is rainy right now around the Charlotte metro area and even in South Carolina. So take that morning commute easy. Again, this is where we are seeing a little bit of a delay. Again, this is going to be on I-85 southbound out towards Billy Graham Parkway. We'll have more on this coming up here soon.
Majestic, thanks for that.
We want to send a big thank you to everyone who showed up to our in-person donation day for the Magical Toy Drive on Saturday. It was a pleasure for our team to meet with so many of you who brought your donations to Carolina Place Mall. You showed up in a big way. I mean, huge for all of the kids in our area, donating more than 3,700 toys to the Salvation Army just this weekend alone. Now, if you couldn't make it out to Saturday's event, there is still plenty of time for you to donate. All you have to do is scan that QR code there on your screen to find out how. Well, if you were lucky, you had a teacher who had a big impact on your life. That was certainly the case for North Carolina natives Matt and Ross Duffer, the creators of the Netflix show Stranger Things.
For them, it was their high school theater teacher. As Liz McLaughlin explains, the teacher's lifelong bond with the famous duo led to a cameo on the hit series.
And you'll go up in the booth. Does that make sense?
In this classroom, Hope Hines Love teaches theater the same way she always has, with the belief that every student has a spark worth nurturing.
I love first day of school energy.
What she didn't expect was that spark coming back to her decades later on one of the biggest shows in the world. Long before the Upside Down, she taught two young brothers at Jordan High School in Durham, Matt and Ross Duffer.
Look at those baby faces!
She stayed in touch with them through the years, never imagining they'd ask her to be in the show.
Sure, I'm happy to give it a try as long as you'll fire me if I'm bad, right? And they're like, okay, and then boom.
When the season premiered, Ross Duffer posted about her, writing that she saw something in us we didn't see in ourselves and helped give them confidence to chase their dreams.
I think it's my job as an arts teacher to teach them to see something in themselves and all of my students to see their voice.
The set was new, but the trust wasn't. A full circle moment, years in the making.
There was never a question in my mind the whole time that they wouldn't take care of me. And I think that that's pretty powerful. And I'm really grateful for that.
Liz McLaughlin with that report there.
I love that they were able to do this.
I know, it's so cool, so neat. Well, the Duffer Brothers included North Carolina Easter eggs throughout the new season as a reminder of where their story began. So neat.
Oh, man.
Because we all had those teachers. And
Yes.
Not all of us are the creators of hit series.
No.
Quite think them quite like that.
If
but
we ever are, we got to think of them.
I know,
Bring them
right?
back into the picture.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And as the only resident Stranger Things fan here,
Okay.
It's been fantastic. So the last 4 episodes, because they're going to release more in Christmas, and I think more, it's either on the 31st or the 1st.
Okay.
Wow. Just I have to say, like, edge of your seat action. So if you were planning on watching it, just letting you know, once you get to episode 3, you're immediately going to be jumping on 4. So well done by the Duffer Brothers.
All right.
I've seen it, but it's been so long, so like I don't even remember what happened.
Oh yeah.
You know when it like takes
I think
the
that's a
wait is
common
so
complaint
long, so I just
Yeah.
struggle.
I watched a recap.
Gonna have to, I was gonna say, gonna have to rewatch
Yeah,
it.
a 2-minute recap. This person
That's a
went
good idea.
rapid fire, so do that.
All right, take a look at this. Stranger things outside. It's foggy and gross. Snowing up in the mountains. Chris standing by. We'll have another check of your morning commute as well coming up on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everyone. We had some dense fog, and now rain is out and about, and it's a very cold rain. It's temperatures in the 30s. We are weather alert on this miserable morning because the chance for rain, even some wet snowflakes that could mix in. Meanwhile, we're looking at widespread snow up in the mountains. Also, keeping a close eye on areas a little bit further off towards the east, right around Albemarle. Could see some snow accumulations there. Rain-snow mix looks like it's starting to blossom, and then there's even a chance around the Charlotte area to do the same, where certain models like this one shows that we could mix in some snowflakes really about mid to late morning, and eventually things are going to fade out, and then the last of the flurries are going to fly during the evening time. That winter weather advisory goes until 1 a.m. for the mountains. The rest of us are going to be dealing with a cold morning by tomorrow. Some black ice possible to start for Tuesday. Not a big warm up either side of 50 degrees really Wednesday and beyond, but at least this is the only wet morning that we have. Majestic, take it away. What's going on?
We're looking at mountain snow this morning and valley rain. You can see blowing rock right here. That snow is really accumulating out on those roads, so make sure you're allowing for plenty of drive time to get you to where you need to be. This is I-77 out there in York County, where those roads are just rainy and wet. Following this ongoing crash is going to be on I-85 at Little Rock Road, southbound lanes impacted.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check of your forecast on this Monday morning. For some, it's a snowy start to the day, Chris.
Sure is, and we're actually seeing some signs that some snow could even start mixing down a little bit further south, even around the I-85 corridor. So I'll get to that in one moment. From 7 o'clock till noon, so we're already past 7 o'clock hour. It's really now until about noon. They have the best chance for widespread rain. Some brief wet snow could also mix in, but it's just cold and wet. It's going to affect how you do your day, and letting you know that once this is clear, we even have a chance for a refreeze overnight tonight. So some slick spots from some black ice, and certainly going to be treacherous up in the mountains. Already, we've seen signs of up to about a ½ inch plus accumulate really across the board, especially in spots like, say, around Blowing Rock, Banner Elk, that I'm seeing the most prevalent totals, but slippery conditions expected. That's why this winter weather advisory goes until 1 a.m. 1 to 3 inches of snow is possible, but I think the upper threshold is going to be up to 4 inches total. So, yep, nope, shovel-worthy weather definitely on the way. Here's our impact radar. As of right now, we're mainly just seeing widespread light to moderate rain. It's really starting to fill in the gaps around the Charlotte area. The good news is we're starting to see some drier air on the back side of this, so this doesn't really look to be a long event. But notice something. I was saying much on WCNC Charlotte that's really between about 8 and 10 o'clock that if we're going to see a burst of snow, it's going to be over the next couple of hours. And we're already seeing signs of this. Just because you see snow here on the radar does not mean it's actively snowing, but it is picking up on some snow right above our heads. So I would not be surprised if we do start to see some bursts of snow mixing in with this rain, almost like a white rain, over the next couple of hours. So not to be surprised, it's not really going to affect anything besides just keeping the roads wet, but I know all of us like to see snow. When it's this cold, you'd rather see snow, right? Now, the I-40 corridor has a much better chance at maybe seeing more of a rain-snow mix, but I'm really keeping an eye on this section. No indications, no reports of active accumulating snow here or even seeing it, but this is showing signs that, hey, it is pretty close. Even around the Mint Hill area, the radar at least is showing that it's snowing not too far above your head. That surface map is showing that this front is going to push through and that eventually it's going to drag in some colder air behind it, and that colder air is going to drag us down to about 27 degrees by tomorrow. And that's also why we're staying weather alert, because you're going to have a chance for a refreeze, some black ice, especially up in the mountains. After that, we have 53 degrees and 52 on Wednesday and Thursday. If you look to the upper part of this graphic, really into that 7-day forecast, our average high and low is now 56 and 36. We are nowhere near that, at least for our highs. Well, kind of close to it, at least at 53 for your Wednesday and Saturday, but we've been below normal for now over 10 days. And this is actually day 11 that we've officially had a high of 50 degrees or colder, which is substantial. And usually those streaks aren't met this earlier in the season. This is actually in the second time that we've had a streak last 10 or more days of that temperature range in Charlotte history, just put it in that perspective. Also, we're looking at for the long range, and I have to show you this before I go, and then we'll go a little bit more detail about our hour by hour. We're weather alert just for the morning, so once you get to about noon for Charlotte, still going to be some lingering wet roads, but nothing really too big after that. Look where our lows are headed after that 7-day forecast. We start to cool down really on Sunday, but by Monday morning, a week from today, we could be waking up either side of 20, some of us dropping down to the teens for the first time. So yeah, I don't have a lot of warmer hope, so maybe by Christmas it'll start warming up. We'll see how that works. Let's get over to Majestic. We have snow-covered roads to wet roads. What's going on?
It's messy, bottom line, so it makes sense that we have that weather impact alert in place for your morning commute, whether you're waking up to snowy area roadways or it's just rainy out there. Bottom line, it is wet and it is cold. This is still some of those big snowflakes coming on down there on King Street in Boone. You can see those roofs are just snow covered. A lot of those cars passing by also covered with snow. So make sure you brush off the snow as you are traveling this morning and watch for some slick and icy spots at times, especially in those areas where maybe the roads haven't been treated yet. But shout out to NCDOT for doing a great job keeping us nice and safe up in the mountains. Meanwhile, this is I-77 where it is just very, very wet. We're looking at rainy conditions conditions. Watch for a little bit of ponding out there for some spots as well for that busy morning commute. Still following this, one lane is closed because of a crash. I-85 southbound at exit 54 Kannapolis Parkway. You can see all of the red, just meaning the cars right now are moving quite slowly. And then once we scoot on over, this is another area. This is I-85 at Little Rock that I've been following for the last 30 minutes or so. It has since been cleared, that accident, but we do still have some slower moving conditions. No problems right now on I-77 and a little slow moving on Independence inbound.
Thanks. 8:05 right now on WCNC Plus. In just a few hours, the man accused of stabbing somebody on Charlotte's Blue Line Friday night in Noda is set to face a judge. CMPD says 33-year-old Oscar Solorzano is now in custody, charged with attempted murder. Now, court records show he is in the country illegally and was previously deported. The violent crime putting folks back on edge as it comes less than 4 months since the deadly stabbing of Irina Zarutska on the exact same train line.
Our team has been following this story since it broke. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us live this morning from Noda. Destiny, there were a lot of developments over the weekend, including a reaction from across the political spectrum.
Yeah, the reaction to this stabbing has really grown from local concern to a national political debate, and the suspect's immigration status has taken a central part of that discussion. Now, we've heard from local leaders, state leaders, and federal leaders about this. President Donald Trump posted about the attack, criticizing Charlotte and Democratic leadership, while Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bavino directly responded to Governor Josh Stein, saying, quote, "The blood of innocence is on you." Stein confirmed he spoke with Charlotte's new police chief about the incident, as local leaders called for calm and emphasized that immigration enforcement falls outside the city's authority. Mecklenburg County Republican leaders are blaming federal and local policies, saying the incident highlights ongoing failures around border security and public safety. And as this political back and forth continues right here at home, the main focus has been, of course, on rider safety. I'll send it back to you guys.
Destiny, thanks so much for that. So what are the city leaders and CATS? What are they saying about this latest stabbing? Because, of course, this is going to raise concern for those people who do use the light rail system.
Yeah, in statements both from Mayor Vi and Brett Cagle, who is the CAT CEO, they said that rider safety is their top priority. They also reiterated that they have safety measures in place, increased private security since the first stabbing of Irina Zarutska. But of course, we have heard since in our own reporting, we have heard from riders saying that they haven't seen as much security, kind of conflicting reports there of whether or not these safety measures are happening and if they're actually effective. So definitely a lot of questions surrounding that to ask of city leaders. And of course, there's also a reiteration that, at least from Mayor Vi, that immigration enforcement is not something that is the city's jurisdiction.
We appreciate that, Destiny. As we mentioned before, court documents show Oscar Solorzano is not in the country legally. The Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office is going to hold a news conference today to address questions about immigration enforcement and Irina's law. And later this morning here on WCNC Plus, we're going to hear from an immigration attorney who explains what today's court appearance for him could look like and the long legal road ahead.
This morning, the search continues for an escaped inmate out of Lincoln County. Authorities say the guy you see right here, Roy Burgess, escaped from the Lincoln County Correctional Center Sunday afternoon. They believe he's in Dallas or Gastonia. If you know where he is, call police. One of the suspects in a deadly mass shooting in Hickory over the summer is back in front of a judge today to discuss a possible bond. Isaiah Mitchell, one of 7 people charged in a deadly pool party back in June. Investigators say more than 80 rounds were fired into a home in a gang-motivated attack. One person was killed, several others injured.
This morning, the SBI is investigating a shooting involving a state trooper in Caldwell County. The agency says it happened around 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon on Grace Chapel Road in Granite Falls. Officials tell us senior trooper William Miller responded to a crash, and a man identified as Scott Siegel pulled a gun at the scene. They say Trooper Miller shot Siegel, killing him. That trooper is on leave. Charlotte Fire issuing a reminder to be careful not to leave candles burning unattended. This follows a house fire Saturday morning. Firefighters tell us it happened around 3 o'clock Saturday morning on Sylvania Avenue near Camp North End. Firefighters say an unattended candle that was left burning caused that fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt. That fire caused $325,000 in damages.
8:10 right now on WCNC Plus. This morning, things running more smoothly over at Charlotte Douglas after a ground stop caused delays all Sunday morning. Right now, we're seeing 30 delays and 12 cancellations. Doesn't sound great, but take a look at what it was yesterday. There you go. More than 700 delays and more than 50 cancellations then. Officials say it was caused by a runway light malfunctioning. Our crew sharing this video inside the terminal showing folks waiting and wondering when their flights were going to take off. The ground stop lifted around noon Sunday, but the impacts, as you can imagine, lingered for several hours into the afternoon. So if you have travel plans today, it might be a good idea to check your flight status before you leave the house. Holiday shopping may be hitting wallets harder than ever, but the story doesn't end there. Coming up, a surprising shift on affordability inside the Trump administration.
You are streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:13 on this Monday morning. Consumer spending cooled in September and inflation rose to the highest level in nearly a year and a half. Now, that's according to data that was released Friday by the Commerce Department. The September report was delayed because of the government shutdown. The Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge rose 0.3% on a monthly basis. That brought the annual inflation to 2.8%, a rate hit last hit in April of 2024.
Well, here's a question. How are you feeling about your holiday shopping budget this year? If you're worried about the cost of checking off everybody on your list, you're certainly not alone. According to polls, many Americans say they're facing higher prices. President Donald Trump has denied that, calling affordability a, quote, scam last week. Now, as Amy Kiley reports, his administration is starting to acknowledge the issue.
We are now seeing this affordability problem, and I think next year we're going to move on to prosperity.
The Trump administration appears to be changing its approach to concerns about affordability. The Treasury Secretary argues the economy is strong, but he's acknowledging the issue.
What we're not going to do is say that Americans don't know what they're feeling.
President Donald Trump is creating a task force to look at food prices. That's despite this comment last week.
The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats.
New analysis of Salesforce data shows shoppers paid more for less this Thanksgiving weekend. Reports indicate consumer confidence is down and unemployment is creeping up. According to polls, many Americans are worried about stretching their budgets.
People are running out of patience. They are seeing their costs go up, and healthcare is going to go up.
Now some Republicans are urging action on the issue.
If you're living paycheck to paycheck, which most Americans are, and you can't afford to make ends meet, nothing else matters other than that.
The White House blames the Biden administration for high inflation. Many economists say Trump bears some responsibility too.
We've seen tariffs that have raised costs. We've seen a big rise in deportations, which are making it difficult for farmers to bring in their crops.
I'm Mimi Kiley reporting.
Now, there is one bright spot in the national average cost of gas. AAA reports it fell below $3 a gallon for regular last week for the first time in more than 4 years. The Senate preparing to vote on whether to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies. Without action, millions of Americans could see their premiums rise. Some might even be forced to give up coverage altogether. Mr. Trump also set to hold an event in Pennsylvania focused on lowering prices, even as critics say his broader policies may worsen things. A recent CNN poll found most Americans believe his economic approach has hurt the country.
Well, someone might need a bigger wallet. No one had all the numbers in Saturday night's Powerball drawing, meaning the Powerball jackpot is now $875 million with a cash value of $403 million, maintaining its spot for the second biggest Powerball jackpot of the year and the seventh largest in Powerball history. The next drawing will be tonight at 10:59. As we head to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, our team tests products all day. We get rid of the rejects. We only bring you the best. And today's is super important because it involves your health and safety. This is the product right here. It's called the Smart Pill Box. Nearly half of all Americans don't take their medicine as prescribed. In many cases, it's simply because they forget. The Smart Pill Box fixes that. So you put your medication in here like this and you get a number. You can number each one, right? And there are 6 slots. It actually tells you and notifies you both on the box and on the app that you connect it to when you're supposed to take your pills. This is also amazing for caregivers, right? And the caregiver doesn't have to live with the person. They can get an alert on their phone far away and call and remind them. So this can really help a lot of people out. Let me show you what it looks like inside the app. It's the medicine name. How often do you take it? How frequently is this dose taken? The medication start date, the intake time, and the total quantity in the vial. We have a special deal for you today on this because it is so important. Normally $140. Today only $89.99. That's 36% off. And on top of that, we have even more savings. An exclusive deal just for you today. A free 1-year subscription to the app that delivers all of this life-saving information. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. All right, so I'm going to jump ahead and then we'll get back to where we are in our reality today. I'm just letting you know, over the next 6 to 10 days, we're going to be cold, but it looks like it could be colder, especially by about day 8 and 9 of that extended forecast. So oftentimes you're like, okay, well, at least it's going to get warmer after this. Instead, we are going to be heading the wrong direction because we have now a better than normal chance of being well below normal. Where over the next 10 days, check it out, we're at 40 today, 40 tomorrow, back to the lower to the mid 50s on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday could be around there, but then we start to see more 40s and 30s take out. So it's this little back section that's going to be even colder. But yeah, 40 degrees, that is rough. As far as our low temperature is concerned, we'll hit 27 degrees. That will be the temporary coldest morning that we've had so far this season, and then that'll be replaced by this coming Monday, which is the 15th of December, officially 10-day countdown until Christmas. We'll remain below freezing in the 20s really for a 3-day span here, just letting you know where we're going. As far as our precipitation chances go, this one stands from all the rest. Look at that, that's like the drop of the fury at Carowinds. Once you get to your Tuesday, we are good, precipitation free. There's a slight chance on Wednesday night that we have flurries in the mountains. Outside of that, I think it's a weak sauce chance we see anything Saturday into Sunday, but then it's by day 10, and who knows where that's going to change over the next 10 days. But in the near term, looks like the the only rain chance that we're going to have over the next 7 days. Two different examples of what's happening across the area. Right now, we have some low-hanging clouds, which is leading to some rain, and then 39 degrees around the Dallas area to Charlotte. Meanwhile, active snow and 28 degrees up in the high country. That camera that you were just looking at was around Sugar Mountain. This one right here at Beach Mountain. Snow pretty persistent and consistent, and it's getting a little bit lighter compared to where it was about an hour ago, but still accumulating pretty quickly. 1 to 3 inches still expected by the totality by the end of this, but we could have some totals up to about 4+, just depending some isolated heavier doses, especially on the mountaintops. Slippery road conditions, that's already happening. Meanwhile, elsewhere across the area, we do have some signs of flurries. That's going to be a possibility. I would say a dusting at most right here along the I-40 corridor. Most of the accumulations, though, are going to be right here up in the high country. 1 to 2 inches, a little bit closer to Avery, Watauga, and Ash. Looks like a guaranteed 2 to 4, and already Majestic. We've seen some cameras that looks like they're almost nearing 1 inch already.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, I'm looking at the power line right there in Boone, where you can see the snow just really accumulating a little closer to the camera, but it's going to be all about the impacts that the weather is having on that morning commute, and really all of us will be seeing those impacts, whether it's snow, whether it's rain, limited visibility. Monday morning commute, it's a messy one. Right here you can see it's beautiful though, and if you love the snow, this is probably making you quite happy out there in Blowing Rock, so make sure you allow for some time to brush the snow off, grab those snow boots. You'll want them in the mountains today. Maybe some rain gear if you're going to be in and around Charlotte. This is I-85 at Little Rock, where conditions are flowing just fine. We did have an earlier wreck, but that has since been cleared. I-77 there coming in from South Carolina seems to be flowing just fine as well. I'm still following this one bigger wreck. One lane is closed because of a crash. I-85 southbound at exit 54. That's Kannapolis Parkway. Larry.
Hi, this is Sprinkle time for Carolina Trivia. It's all about the first female parachutist, and this person was born right here in the Tar Heel State. In Oxford, North Carolina, the year was 1893. Georgia Tiny Broadwick is the name. There's her picture right there. Georgia Tiny Broadwick, first female to parachute from an airplane, June 21st, 1913, from 3,000 feet at the California State Fair. And there she is, getting ready for the flight in the biplane they had back in those days. And there she is, strapped to the plane, ready to drop from the sky. Georgia Tiny Broadwick. Pretty amazing. There she is right after a very successful landing. She lived until 1978. Aviation pioneer, first woman to actually parachute from an airplane back in 1913. And she also demonstrated the use of parachutes to the U.S. Army in the year 1914. That's today's Carolina Trivia. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Folks, we're going to stop for a second and say a big thank you to everybody who came out to our big drop-off day Saturday at Carolina Place for our magical toy drive. Take a look. This is just some of the video we had of the toys we got. Your generosity never ceases to amaze us, and it's always great to see you and meet you when you come out. And listen, you showed up in a big way, donating 3,700 toys to the Salvation Army. That was just on Saturday. If you couldn't make it though, hey, there's still time to help out. Scan that QR code on your screen to learn more.
Well, good morning, everyone. We have some active snow here in the mountains, and we're still expecting at least about another 2 inches for most of the area. Some areas, I think, have already at least a ½ inch of snow, some even approaching that inch range. Now, the snow will lighten up as we work our way through the day, up to about a dusting to a coating of snow as possible north of I-40, and then some flurries could be seen on and off through this morning south of I-40. That's why we have winter weather advisory until 1 o'clock for the mountains. And then we have a big issue for the refreeze. As of right now, we're mainly dealing with rain across the area. Now, up above our heads, we are seeing some signs of snow. So this is indicating that over the next 2 hours, we could see a brief little changeover of what we like to call white rain. A miserable morning overall. Once you get to the afternoon, it's just going to be cloudy. So watch out for those slick spots in the near term. 70 forecast brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center. Keeping black ice in the forecast for tomorrow, still cold, and then back to around 50 degrees on Wednesday. Majestic?
Good Monday morning, everyone. We're seeing those impacts really all across the area. Snowy up in the mountains. You can see it here in Blowing Rock, slick and icy spots as well, so take it easy. Meanwhile, we're still holding on to wet area roadways. This is I-85 at Little Rock, near and around Charlotte. Just a rainy start to the morning. Join us over on WCNC Plus for more.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson, and we will get straight over to your weather impact forecast because, folks, we are a weather impact alert because we got some precipitation out there.
We do all types of variety, mainly snow up in the mountains and light rain here. When I emphasize the light, really almost as borderline mist to drizzle in some spots or just even some sprinkles, while other areas are seeing light to moderate rain. So it's all over the place right now. But regardless, whenever you have temperatures that are close to the mid to the upper 30s and you have rain, there's a chance for a little bit of a changeover, but it is all snow, baby, up in the mountains. And here it is. Check it out. Seeing widespread snow up around Avery, Watauga, and Ashe County. Meanwhile, this little spot right here representing that, hey, you could have a little changeover, and that is a possibility, but looking at our cameras, that does not look to be the possibility, because right now we're right around the Mint Hill area, over to Albemarle is where it's showing this. Oh, of course, the camera drops off, but I was just looking at this, and our Albemarle camera was actually showing barely any precipitation. That's what we're seeing across much of the area. Meanwhile, it's a noticeable difference up around Boone, where the good news is they've done a great job at treating these roads here. Check it out. You can see the nice avenues. At one point, you can see a bunch of the tire tracks they've seen here in Blowing Rock. I don't think they've treated this road yet. And then Sugar Mountain and Beach Mountain are just seeing the best of all worlds in the snow category, because that's some fresh powder. It's going to be great for the ski season. Our winter weather alerts go until 1 o'clock tonight, and it really doesn't end there as far as the hazards, though. After 1 o'clock, then anything that fell is going to freeze over, because temperatures aren't just falling further below freezing, they're falling down in the teens. So that's significant ice across the area, so even more so slippery conditions by tomorrow morning. So I think a lot of school delays are going to be on tap. Ashe already canceled. I think they could do that again. By about noon, here's what it looks like. Now, I think this futurecast, I really can't find one that I exactly agree with, but this one right here, I think the timing is great. It just is showing all snow, but so is our radar. So what that was really just showing is not too far above our heads, it's snowing. It's just that we're warm enough to melt all of it before it gets to the surface. That's why I'm still going to keep over the next couple of hours a chance for a quick little mix over. It doesn't affect anything, just allows you to see some snowflakes. I think it would be more flurries because it's very light, because some dry air is really starting to eat in, and that's going to allow for us to dry out heading into the afternoon. By 6 o'clock, we are only talking about some flurries flying for you in the high country. The rest of us don't have to worry about anything, and those clouds even breaking up, allowing for some sunshine by tomorrow. We don't see it right away, and then you can see by tomorrow, eventually we're even clearing things out completely heading into your Wednesday. Now, I want to get to our low temperatures. By tomorrow, dropping down to 27 degrees. Any rain that we have, I think, is still going to be damp through most of the day. That could lead to some slick spots, especially walking around tomorrow morning. Kids heading to the bus stop, watch out for that. And then our lows are going to be around that freezing point for the most part over the next 3 to 4 days. But one thing I really want to point out, I don't like to take the optimism away, but we are not warming up. Instead, we're actually furthering our cool down heading into next week. Next Monday, we could fall down to the teens for the first time. Even if this comes up a little bit, that still would be by far our coldest morning that we've had so far this season. 'Tis the season that you expect these type of swings. Not the greatest morning, but let's find out how it's affecting your traffic from the mountains to the Charlotte area of Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Been keeping a close eye on a lot of different things. We don't have a ton of accidents right now, so that's good for your morning commute. Snowy in the mountains. You can see one of our live cameras right here. This is coming in from Boone, where snow has accumulated. Now those roads could be a little slick and icy, maybe a little slushy at times. You can see those roofs right there also just layered with the snow, and it's still coming down for you. So be mindful of that. Another one of our cameras coming in from Beach Mountain. You can see those roads actually a little bit worse there. Lots of people out there shoveling the snow for you this morning. Meanwhile, in and around Charlotte, it is just about a little bit of rain right now. I-85 here at Little Rock. You can tell those roads are wet. Windshield wipers going on this morning, and we do have our typical delays, but I'm really watching one ongoing wreck that's still not cleared. A lane is blocked because of it. It's on I-85 southbound at exit 54. That's out towards Kannapolis Parkway. It's not blocked. It's just completely moving slow. One lane is currently blocked, not the entire, all the lanes. And then once we head just west of Uptown, this is 485. Slow ramp traffic traffic. 485, the outer loop there at I-85 to get onto exit 10. And then you can see I-77, those delays are ongoing. Thankfully, no accidents there. It doesn't look quite as bad if you're going to be traveling on I-77 in York County. Coming up in just a few minutes, we just had this accident pop up, so I'm going to learn more about that, letting you know what that new update is, and we'll have another look at everything else in just a few. Guys.
Majestic, thanks so much. 8:35 now. Our coverage continues this morning on what is now the second stabbing on the Charlotte light rail in the past 4 months. CMPD says 33-year-old Oscar Solorzano is in custody, charged with attempted murder after they say he stabbed a man Friday night. He is set to face a judge in just a few hours. Right now, court records show that he is in the U.S. illegally and was previously deported. As Solorzano heads to court, WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard spoke with an immigration attorney to go over what his court appearance could look like today and the long legal road ahead.
The court hearing for Oscar Solorzano is expected to be brief, but attorneys like Gary Money says it's the start of a much longer legal process.
All persons are entitled to due process under the United States Constitution.
Money says the focus stays on the criminal case here in Mecklenburg County. Even though the suspect was undocumented, their immigration status does not take over the case, at least not yet.
So the state system is not the immigration system. So what will happen is the state court prosecutors will probably be working with federal officials that are part of the immigration departments and agencies of the federal government.
If Solorzano faces charges for illegal re-entry after deportation, Kenneth Pham, an immigration attorney, says the process will be handled separately.
They go through two separate processes. The federal law handles it on their end, and the state handles it on their end as well. The federal government steps in and goes, hey, this person isn't supposed to be here, and then starts the process of adjudicating of whether or not they have a ability to get a lawful right here. But we don't know until we go through the constitutional method.
Until then, the suspect will remain in the county jail while the attempted murder charge moves through the court. As for now, Money says Monday's appearance will answer key questions like whether or not Solorzano will be held without bond and what timeline will the court set for the next phase of the attempted murder case.
The judge will have statutes that guide his decision-making or her decision-making. And so then after that, this gentleman will probably go back to prison until the next hearing or until a trial date is set.
Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
8:37 right now on WCNC Plus. Right now, we're working to bring you more details on a reported shooting in North Charlotte. It happened late Sunday morning. Medics says they found somebody shot lying along Old Statesville Road just down the street from W.T. Harris Boulevard. But they say that's not where the shooting actually took place. You're taking a look at that area, but so far, police haven't given us a location for the scene of the crime. CMPD says an anonymous tip led them to a major drug bust in Southwest Charlotte. Officers searched an apartment on Gansey Road, seizing 2 guns, more than $6,000 in cash, and large amounts of suspected drugs. 25-year-old Pierce Serda was arrested on multiple trafficking and possession charges. Police urging anybody with more information to come forward and contact Crime Stoppers. Right now, Monroe Police asking for your help to find these 2 missing teens. Take a look. 15-year-old Cameron Sane was last seen getting into a white Ford truck on Skywatch Lane. Police believe she may be with 16-year-old Damian Funk, who you see right there. Funk was reported missing from another jurisdiction. Police believe they may be leaving the state. 8:38 right now. The countdown to Christmas continued all weekend in Gastonia. Folks lined the streets Sunday for this year's Christmas parade. Many of you perhaps watched it right here live on WCNC Plus. Families we spoke to say it is a great holiday tradition for the entire community.
I think people should come out to the Gastonia parade just to really enjoy some family time, get to spend time with the holidays and see people.
It's the 78th year for the city that has hosted the parade.
Sunday's parade was followed by a tree lighting ceremony, part of the big Christmas in the City event at the Rotary Pavilion. There was also a street market and live music. As holiday deliveries pile up, not everything waiting at the door is welcome. Coming up, the surprising twist caught on camera and what you can do to stay one step ahead.
Well, we may be counting down to Christmas, but with more packages coming to your doorstep, there will be more porch pirates.
That's right. A doorbell camera in Chicago capturing a man filling up his own Santa sack with presents. They are not for him. NBC's Adrian Prada shows us how you can protect yourself.
At first glance, it may seem like a DoorDash delivery, but quickly it turns into a porch pirate pickup. Watch as he stuffs not one, but multiple packages into his bag. Before a honk alerts him that the suburban Chicago homeowner is pulling up, the family returning from vacation.
Oh my God, he's putting all the packages in his bag.
The real-life Grinch, managing to avoid the SUV, gets in the car and drives away before they even park.
When we looked through the Ring video footage from earlier in the day, you could see that he'd canvassed by our house several times.
This mom of two now warning neighbors to stay alert during the busy holiday shopping season that now comes with more and more package deliveries. Clarendon Hills police say the property crime incident is under investigation, adding porch pirates are getting bolder. In Houston, some thieves are targeting the cameras first to prevent any footage of their attacks. Authorities say thieves used Wi-Fi jammers to override home security systems, in this case, corrupting the video to ensure clean evidence wasn't recorded.
They're not hard to get. I think they cost about $60 or $70.
Experts say you can take steps to protect your home.
One of the things I do at home is I have 2 networks, and I have different Ring cameras connected to different networks. And there are different frequencies as well.
As for package deliveries, police in Illinois suggesting if you don't want to take a chance, pick one delivery day when you know you'll be home or use a locking drop box. As for this family targeted in Chicago, the stolen Christmas gifts can be replaced, but the violation of their space cuts deeper.
We definitely felt violated, a little nervous going to bed last night. Like, I know that that's not what it was about, but you're still nervous. Like, it's your property and someone's like encroached upon it.
NBC's Adrian Brothers with that report. Amazon's annual Thank My Driver program is returning. That's where customers who receive packages from Amazon can give a $5 tip to drivers while the tech company picks up the tab. Amazon officials say this is a way to recognize its workers during the busier than usual holiday season. To give a driver a bonus, say, Alexa, thank my driver. Our apologies to the Alexas going off right now. To your device or go to Amazon's website and search for Thank My Driver.
Well, the federal government is recalling the popular children's toy. The Consumer Product Safety Commission announced the recall of Create on Crayola branded Pip cubes. The cubes contain magnets that can become loose. That could harm a child if they swallow them. The magnetic building cubes were sold in sets of 24 or 27 cubes. You see them right here. This is what they look like. The 24-piece sets were sold in Michael's stores around the country and through Michael's website. The 27-piece set sold online at Amazon. 6 people sent to the hospital after a chemical explosion at the M&M Mars facility in Cleveland, Tennessee, Friday morning.
Operations at that facility were halted temporarily due to the exposure. However, company officials say no products manufactured at the site were impacted, and those who received medical services were released without any injuries. There is no word yet on what caused that incident. Chris?
So a lot of people have been asking, when do I drip my faucets? Well, tonight is going to be one of those. When temperatures are 28 degrees for 4 hours or more, yep, it's time to at least allow 5 drips per minute. It almost takes a little bit of finesse. Well, that's going to be tonight. But what if I told you we're going to have temperatures that potentially drop down below 20 degrees? I'll let you know when you can expect that. And we'll also go through the hour by hour, what you can expect for the rest of this morning, and even which areas are seeing sleet right now.
8:49 on this Monday morning, and we are weather impact alert today because of precipitation out there, Chris.
Yeah, it's all over the place, and it depends where you are. We just got a report from Concord that some sleet was mixing in, and that's why this is always really tricky, because a radar beam is shot off at a slight angle, sometimes just 0.5 degrees. But the further you get away from that site, well, that's going to allow you to look deeper into the atmosphere. And that's exactly, I think, what we're seeing here in the eastern side of the 485 loop up into Cabarrus County, Rowan, over into the Albemarle area, is that it's picking up on snow right above our heads. Where oftentimes, especially when you have temperatures in the 30s, it can sometimes only be a couple thousand feet up in the air that you have active snow. But then once it gets to the surface, it melts, so you just have a really cool water droplet. So for the most part, we're just dealing with some rain, but there is a chance that you could mix in some snowflakes, I would say, over the next hour or so. But one thing that's really inhibiting anything to happen as far as that variety is some drier air. That already we're almost clear from the rain here in York County. Still kind of has that damp feel that's left behind here, but the further north that you go, we're seeing a lot more activity right along the I-40 corridor. That's also where we have more moisture, so it's coming down a little bit steadier rain there as well. So looking at this little spot, it's almost fading out, but there's still a chance you could have some sleet, even some bursts of snow trying to mix through, even though that precipitation is barely hitting the ground right around Charlotte for the time being. And meanwhile, up in the mountain, it is a completely different story. So it is wet right now here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, right around the spot that you might have heard about that sleet report. And then meanwhile, a new camera that I was able to import in here, Lees McRae College over at Banner Elk. Gorgeous. Look at that. Man, that's like a postcard. So a nice little blanket of snow. Nobody's really out today, and so that's good news there. There's a lot of 2-hour delays and even cancellations for our school up in Ashe County. A lot of the roads have been treated, but some of them have not. So a lot of slipping and sliding is starting to happen. I actually saw one camera in one of our Banner Elk cameras that someone did kind of fishtail a little bit. So watch out for those slippery road conditions. Up to 1 to 3 inches is going to be a possibility. I think some areas already pretty close to an inch has already accumulated. Well, we'll continue this steady snow rate for a decent duration for the rest of this morning heading into the afternoon. It's really not until about the evening that we're starting to see things cut off. So here's our futurecast. This one right here starting to pick up on the holes in the dry air further off towards the west. Still going to keep around a precip around the I-85 corridor for about the next hour or two. And then by about noon, I think we're good to go. But notice our temperatures. They don't really move too much. 37 degrees. This has a little bit more snow. I think it should be a little more rain. It's tough finding a futurecast that I think absolutely is picking up on it. There's so many variables, but we see the last of those snow flurries fly really by about 8 o'clock, and then we're going to be clear by tomorrow. And by tomorrow, look at that temperature dropping down to 27 degrees around Charlotte, the teens around Boone. So we have a second weather alert because of the chance for black ice. That thin layer of ice is going to be a possibility tomorrow, especially up in the high country. Keep that in mind and drive safe in the near term. Let's get over to Majestic, see if there's any developing problems for our morning commute besides the obvious.
Good morning, everyone. Well, area roadways, yes, they're going to be a little wet as you're heading out the door, so just probably drive a little slower. That always helps. This is I-85 here at Little Rock. We're really, whether you're traveling on I-77, I-85 in or around Charlotte, it's mainly just a little wet because of some rain showers this morning. Meanwhile, up in the mountains, if you're just waking up and turning on the stream, look at the mountains. This is out there in Blowing Rock where we definitely have accumulating snowfall, not just on those grassy surfaces, but even out there on those roads. You can see right there in Beach Mountain, it's a similar setup there. A snowplow going by, helping to get those roads nice and treated and taken care of for people who have to travel today. Now, once we bring it back home, we are still following a couple of accidents. This one here is pretty minor. It's a crash there on Wallora Lake Road between Evergreen View Lane and Albemarle Road. Still seeing mainly green around it, so not seeing any major impacts there. Some orange starting to pop up here. It's on Providence Road at Shallowwood Lane, so take it easy for that morning commute. We'll have another detailed look at everything you need to know. 45, the outer loop out there towards Berry Hill. Also moving slow, but no accidents.
Majestic thanks. Of course, we want to send a big thank you to everyone who showed up to our in-person donation day for our magical toy drive on Saturday. It was a pleasure, and we're so thankful that so many of you came out and brought your donations to Carolina Place Mall. You showed up in a big way, donating more than 3,700 toys to the Salvation Army just this weekend alone. Now, if you couldn't make it out to the weekend's event, don't worry. There is still plenty of time for you to donate. Scan that QR code on the screen right there on the right side and find out how you can donate.
And once again this year, Ginger the Elf is back for her 10th year. We're checking in on her this morning right now, and there she is. She's getting her hair and makeup done. Ginger's a diva.
Okay, Ginge.
All right, we see you. Ginge joins us every morning here on WCNC Charlotte, catching up with us and also reporting back to the big guy at the North Pole. And we know she has a lot of friends out there too. Perhaps you have an elf on the shelf in your household? Send us a photo. Also, include the name if you can, because it's always interesting to hear the names. You've got a Heidi.
And we have Heidi.
That's right, who likes to hide.
She does hide, for sure.
Text us 704-329-3600.
All right, folks, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Our Jane Monreal takes over at the top of the hour from our live Impact studio.
Good morning, everyone. Check it out. Our tower camera not really super impressive. We have some light rain that continues to fall. Meanwhile, head the opposite direction. Lee's McRae College right now. Steady snow right here in Banner Elk, so it depends where you are. Temperatures, of course, freezing in the mountains in the mid to the upper 30s. Still creating not just rain, but even some signs of some sleet's been mixing in, mainly east of Charlotte around Concord. So I would say over the next hour or so, that's going to be a possibility. A lot of this rain is fairly light and it's starting to encounter some of that drier air. I think all of this should pretty much be done around noon for the Charlotte area, and then we have to face a chance for a refreeze by tomorrow, and that's why we have back-to-back weather alert mornings. So some slick spots going to be possible to kick off your Tuesday morning. Both highs around 40 degrees, back to the lower 50s, a little bit closer to where we should be with some sunshine Wednesday and Thursday, even colder by Sunday. Majestic, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. If you are traveling out there in the mountains, watch for those slick and icy spots. This is out there in Boone on King Street. It's a winter wonderland. We are all being impacted this morning, whether it's rain or snow. We have some rainy area roadways. This is I-77 here at Atondo, so right around Charlotte. Just make sure your windshield wipers are working good for you. We are following this wreck right here. It's going to be right there on Albemarle Road. Take it easy.